Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some drop scones or drop scones. These are similar, or probably the same almost, as a Scotch pancake and similar to those American pancakes. The difference with these is that they're going to have some banana in them, and as well as flour they're going to have some oats in them. I'm basing this on a recipe that I saw on River Cottage, basically. Quite simple to make, and I'm going to cook mine on a griddle, but you can use them you can cook them in a heavy bottomed frying pan if that's all you have. So I'll go straight onto the ingredients, and for these I have 100 grams, which is 2/3 of a cup of plain flour. That's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 1 cup, which is 80 grams of oats. I have a teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, a tablespoon, 12.5 grams of sugar. I have 150 milliliters of milk, which is half a cup plus 2 tablespoons. I have 42 grams, 3 tablespoons of butter, which I've melted and allowed to cool down a little bit. And I have 1 medium egg. I also have 2 small bananas here, which weigh out of the banana skin. They weigh 175 grams, which is about 6 ounces, I think. You can use 1 large banana, 2 small bananas. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to process the wet ingredients with the banana until it's just a smooth liquid. You can leave the bananas chunky if you want to, but I don't want mine chunky. And I'm also going to mix all the dry ingredients together. So I'll put the dry ingredients first of all into a bowl. That's the flour, the oats, the sugar, the baking powder and the salt. And I'll give those a bit of a mix around just to get them combined. Like that. And then I'm going to put the wet ingredients into this bowl of my immersion blender. And my bananas are very, very ripe. So the banana and the butter and the egg and the milk. And I'm simply going to blitz those until they are all pureed smoothly. So I'm then going to mix that into my dry ingredients until I get a batter which is about the consistency of thick or double cream. If I need a little bit more milk, I can add that in later. And that looks good enough to me. I'm just going to leave that while I set up my griddle. So I have my griddle at temperature, and I've actually heated mine to about 170 Celsius, which is 340 Fahrenheit. I think that's going to be hot enough, and I've lightly greased the griddle as well. So what I'm going to do is just take a couple of spoonsful of the batter and put it onto the griddle. Like that, and I'm going to let that cook for a couple of minutes on the first side until the sides have firmed up so that I can turn them over, and the underside should brown nicely. And you'll notice a few little bubbles appearing, and when the sides have firmed up, you can turn them over. And I'm going to cook them for 2 minutes on this side as well, and then I'm going to turn them over and cook them for another minute on the other side. So I cooked those first 8, and I've cooked 4 more, and I cooked them on one side for about 2 minutes, turned them over, cooked them on the other side for about 2 minutes, then I turned them over for another minute until they turn this nice colour here, and they should be fully cooked now. So I'm going to let those cool down, and when they've cooled down I'll come back and we'll have a taste. So I cooked the drop scones, or the Scotch pancakes, for 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other side after the edges had firmed up a little bit. Then I flipped them again and cooked them a little bit longer, and then I flipped them again and cooked them a little bit longer. So I think probably about 6 minutes total for each drop scone. And this is what they look like. These ones are slightly larger because I scooped just a little bit more of the mixture onto the griddle. So I've buttered one. Now you can serve these with some golden syrup, some maple syrup, some jam if you want to, or some butter, whatever you want. And I'll have a taste of this one. It has a nice texture, and the flavour of the banana comes through, and I can actually taste the oats as well, so that they're not the same texture as you would have with a drop scone that didn't have the banana and oats in, or a Scotch pancake, which is basically a plain pancake, but they're very, very similar, and they taste very good indeed. And they have just a hint of sweetness. I only put a little bit of sugar in, and then the sweetness of the banana as well. So I think these are very, very good indeed. Perfect for breakfast. And I guess you could eat them warm if that's how you prefer them. You can simply warm them through just a little bit if you want to. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for this recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.